Welcome back to Chokitable Media. I want to read the post for you. And this post was written by Mimi at Mimi Yakiga _Yakiga. She wrote, after being called out by the US mission to Nigeria for wasteful governance, fresh revelation showed that Governor Ademola Adeleke spent a staggering 3.1 billion naira on international travel in just 6 months. 3.1 billion on international travel in just 6 months. That is not all. 1.6 billion naira went for food. Note, 1.6 billion naira went for food. 702 million to sitting allowance or allowances, while healthcare and basic education were grossly underfunded. This video unpacks the gluttony behind the budget, the silence from the federal level, and the growing culture of political defection in search of protection and not a service. Osun State is very, very far from the center. When you're talking about state, you don't even want to think about Osun State because they said it's a civil service state. But despite that, Osun is so far away from the face of the people or from the center, a lot of things are going on in Osun State that people are really coming out to go against. And that is why I have to show what people are saying about Governor Ademola Adeleke, the one in Osun State, the governor, present governor of Osun State. Arguments are going on online. Some people are for him, talking about his effort to bring modernization to Osun State. People are talking that he has tried his best in building, installing infrastructure, infrastructure everywhere, around the state. While some people are talking and saying the money spent on all this infrastructure is actually too much, more than what they expected. So some people are even saying that all this money being expended, they believe money expended wrongly. All of them are also, approved by the federal government. That is FARC. If it could pass the FARC, then what is the problem? And that's what people are saying. Definitely, they knew about it and what they spent according to their budget. So they don't have to say nothing about this. Opinions are different. Royal wrote, he said, I beg, madam, carry your yeye come off from here, Joe. That is after he has watched the contribution of this lady that did the analysis on Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke. You know how much APC government does blow? Let's start to handle things in orderliness, even though we know that and understand the fact, even though we know and understand the facts, you have been paid by APC government for this. But honestly, it is not necessary at this point. Another person, Clement wrote, he said, first question, young lady, have you been to Osun State? If not, I believe you are only reading the information upside down. In all honesty, this man has tried. On infrastructure, to me, in 10 years, Ademola Adeleke is the best governor ever ruled. Look for good in people. Shalom, that's what he wrote. Another person also wrote, sad that you had to make it about ABC. Maybe you should now do the frivolous and extravagant spending of OB in Anambra State during his tenure, since you want to be politically, let's make it balanced then. That's what another person wrote. Then Davido was drawn into this conversation as well. Like, at Davido, try to follow your uncle talk. You hold the people that much. because your added influence brought him to power. That's another person. Another person also wrote, directing this to Davido. Another person also wrote, directing the comments to at Dele Momodu. So at Davido, see your uncle that we all campaign for. What is this? Was this what you guys wanted? You and your family, you and your family running around, that you wanted to be in governance of Osun State. The Adelekes must call Ademola to order, or inshallah, we will campaign against him massively. Ibrahim Alidu also said, how would he not spend that amount on food when Atele Momodu was also visiting? So, anyway, I want you to listen to the analysis and the calculations given to us about Governor Ademola Adeleke's spending in Osun State. So let's watch.
After the U.S. mission to Nigeria recently called out state governors for wasteful spending, now the receipts are rolling in, and Osun State just made the headlines, spending $3.1 billion on international travel alone in 6 months. So between January and June 2025, Governor Adeleke's administration blew billions on travels, training, food and sitting allowances, while basic education, healthcare, and clean water were left to struggle. Now let's get into the numbers. Over 2.8 billion on international travels and transport, 256 million on international training travel, and that is 3.1 billion in 6 months. Now here's the painful part. The Ministry of Water Resources spent over 1.2 billion, less half of what was spent on travel. The State Universal Basic Education Board got slightly over 2 billion, still below the cost of flights. The Primary Healthcare Development Board received 156 million. That's peanuts compared to what is being spent on hotels and tickets. So ask yourself, what is the priority of this government? Movement or development? Now let's analyze this like serious people. 1.6 billion was spent on food and refreshments in half a year. That's enough to fund a structured school feeding program or provide clean water to over 100 rural communities. If governance was judged by many choices, Osun would have been a Michelin star state, not in terms of citizen welfare, but in the caloric comfort of its political class. And here comes the insult of it all. 702 million in sitting allowances. Yes, just to sit. At this point, you must ask, were they sitting to deliberate on policy or to decide what wine to pair with the 1.6 billion meal? Let's talk about the fiscal insanity. Osun State paid 12 billion in debt servicing in the same 6 months. That is almost 40% of their internally generated revenue. So, while they barely make money, they owe heavily and they spend recklessly. What is even more painful is that more money went into debt servicing than the entire budget for all tertiary institutions in the state combined. Osun State University, Polytechnic, just name it. And here is where it gets worse. This spending wasn't done in secret. Every state budget, including this reckless spending, is passed through FAG, the Federal Account Allocation Committee. That means the federal government sees it, approves it, signs off on it. Now you see why so many politicians are defecting to APC, because that is where the highest level of protection exists. Protection from accountability, from scrutiny, from justice. Governance is no longer about the people. It's about covering your tracks in a safe political zone. So we ask today for transparency. We ask for audited reports because you know why? The money is not missing. It is documented theft happening in public view. If we remain silent, they will not only defect from one party to another, they will keep defecting from responsibility, from accountability, and from the people. And Nigeria cannot afford to be on the menu. It's a truth at a time. Take care and have a nice day.
Now that you've seen the video, the short clip, how do you feel? Do you think this is justified? This spending, do you think it's all right like this for a state that is regarded as our civil service state? Anyway, what do I know? I don't know much. The comment is up to you. Put them in the comment section. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe. Put on your notification button and God bless you as you do. Bye-bye for now.